Two runners will kick the yard off in race 1 for the LAING yard on Monday, and Gavin's going to talk us through their chances. They'll start off with Rainbird.
Yeah, Donald rode her last time out. She ran a decent race. She over-raced a little bit with Donald. He said she was a little bit keen. So this time around she's drawn 2. I've told him Donald, and, it's 100, and she petered out the last 100, so it's 100 metres shorter, so we're expecting to run a lot better. It's not the strongest of fields, so he must just jump out to go handy, and then if somebody leads him, well, even better, then he can just settle behind the lead horse. If he finds himself in front, he must just hold her up as best he can, and I think she's going to run a better race now. It's 100 metres shorter.
Behind us in shot is Royal Venus and her groom Richard, and she'll be the second of the runners in race 1. And Gav, she has shown to be at best over this type of trip, the 1300.
Yeah, I thought she would have won a maiden race by now. Her work's really good. She's still a maiden. It's quite surprising. She hates the grass for some reason, I don't know. So she's only a poly horse. 12, 13, 14 is probably your best distance. 1300, you're right. But also because it's not the strongest of fields, she could run into the money.
We'll see Wolfram in race 3, and he has earned over track and trip.
Yeah, he's ultra consistent. He's not an easy horse to ride. I know the last time he rode, Charlie came back and he was blaming more than the horse. So I said, but I warned you, Charlie. I said, this horse is not an easy horse to ride. He's a horse that needs a Richard Fourie, a Louis Makwakwa, a Chase Majan. He needs a strong jockey, a Raymond Danielson. So he's not really a Charlie ride. But I've managed to get Louis back on him. Louis knows him. He hasn't got the best of draws, but it doesn't matter. He comes from the back. It's really a poor field, to be quite honest. It's a weak field, so I think he's got a good chance here.
Next up is Sky Velocity, and she was doing her best work late in her last start.
Yeah, we would have preferred to run on the grass on the Friday, but she drew wide, and she didn't. The field didn't cut up that much. This is a lot weaker, this field, so we've opted to leave in here. We're trying over the 2000. The draw's not the greatest, but it is a weaker field, so we think she can run into the money.
And we'll see her in race 5. We move forward to race 7, Joyous Jubilee, always about the action.
Yeah, his last one was over this distance, 1300. He's got a nice draw, also not the greatest of fields. There's a couple of horses with chances in this race, so go a little bit wide with your quartets and your exotics, but definitely a runner from a decent draw, and his last one was this distance.
And Colorama rounds up in race 8, and didn't she fly up late to place in her last Gav? I know she's a horse that takes a lot of work behind the scenes, but you guys are doing something right.
Yeah, no, listen, when Chase rode her, she came back with the Stops asked us to check her, and the next day she was so sensitive behind, so we gave back the report that she pulled a muscle in the hindquarters. So she ran with Ramzam. She ran a really nice race, but we weren't going to run her. We had to make sure that she's pulled up okay. Yes. And surprisingly enough, the next morning she trotted fine. I couldn't believe it. So we've just cantered her and asked Ramzam come canter her. We've got to make a decision. Yeah, he says, Gavin, I don't believe it. She's actually better now than she was last time. So I can't get my head around that because she normally pulls up really bad. So we've just given her a little bit of work now. She's racing fit. She gets on very well with Ramzam. So we're going to leave him on it. Frankie Dettori came to PE. I'm sorry, we're leaving Ramzam on this filly. He's the only one who seems to get the best out of her. So a definite runner. You can't get weaker than a Mediterranean 62. This race should have a big chance.
So let's see what Jose can do on Colorama on Monday.